Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning into my podcast named Bahubhashik Talks. Today I have with me is Korean expert.
Hi, Jasleen. How are you?
Lisa, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much. For all the audience, I would like to tell you all that Jasleen is basically my teacher. She's the one from whom I have learned Korean. Though my hang on Korean is, of course, not as good as Jasleen, but whatever little Korean I know, thanks to Jasleen. So I have decided that I'm going to address her as Samsoning the whole podcast, and I hope Jasleen is not going to mind that.
Not at all.
So, Samsoning, I would really request you to introduce yourself to our audience.
Yes. Hi everyone. My name is Jasleen. I actually started learning Korean in 2016 from Symbiosis. And my main interest was because I had a lot of Koreans in my school, and then I eventually got into K-pop and Korean dramas. I started teaching in 2020 during the lockdown, and it's been a fun journey because I've got a chance to meet so many different people, and it's always fun to just have people around your age who have the same kind of interests and just vibe with them.
Yeah, I can understand. And so, now these days, this K-pop and K-drama is so much popular that, everybody has some or the other interest in it and everybody really wants to know. So, when this love affair started for Jasmine?
So this started for me in 2015, like towards the end of it.
Okay.
And then I found out that Symbiosis have certificate courses for Korean language. So I registered with them and I completed my language learning in 2018.
Okay, and have you ever been to Korea or have any really memorable experience of interacting with a Korean person? You really can't forget that.
So I haven't been to Korea yet. It's on my bucket list. But when I was in New Zealand for my cousin's wedding, I did have a bunch of Koreans come up to me and my cousin's sister telling us that we look really pretty. So she said that to me in Korean, and when I thanked her saying "감사합니다," which is thank you in Korean, she was a little taken back in a shock, like a little like shocked. She was like, "Oh, you know Korean?" And I said, "Yes, I started learning it." So that was a really fun experience because it was really fun interacting with her.
Right. And I think now since this Korean is getting so popular, so when you tell your friends or family members, what are the weird things which they keep asking you? So in my case, when I was learning Mandarin or when I was also working in that field, a lot of people used to ask me, oh, they really eat earthworm, they really eat dog, they really eat cat, questions like this. So what is the weird questions people ask you sometimes?
So I think the weirdest question I was asked was, how can you differentiate between whether they look like a guy or a girl? And I'm like, that is kind of mean, but it's very easy to understand and differentiate between their faces once you had it in first as well.
Right, yeah. A lot of people do think that they all Southeast Asian people look very similar, and that's very rude. They don't, guys, please. They really don't. And what cultural differences you really feel that exist between Indian culture and Korean culture, or what similarities you observe?
I think we have more of similarities with them because the whole of Asia is all about respect. So even in Korea, we don't receive gifts with one hand. It's always two hands, like in India. And then except out here we do namaste, but in Korea they usually bow for respect. So if you meet someone for the first time, you'll say 안녕하세요 and bow, which is hello. And then same thing in the Indian culture as well. We do not start eating our food unless the elder person starts. And the same thing in Korea as well. The elders always get a lot of respect.
Right. And so you must be having some Korean friends. And do you know or would like to share with the audience any of their interactions with Disney in Korea and how it was different or similar interactions they have had there.
So I had Korean students in school. Korean classmates in school. And I mean, interacting with them was always fun because that time we weren't really into the whole Korean language learning thing. But I remember we always shared the same Independence Day as Korea, and we had to learn their national anthem as well. So it used to be they used to sing the Indian national anthem, and then we used to sing the Korean national anthem with them. And I had a friend who's been to Korea. She did her Korean language course there, so she was saying that it is really like, I mean, just as you see it in Korean dramas, it's really picturesque and very pretty place, and people are just as friendly. The food is, I mean, there's so much of variety. Lots of vegetarian options now and Indian options as well.
Right.
She was really happy.
Yeah, and so I have heard it in one of the podcasts that these Korean girls, especially, they always look for a lot of makeup. Even if they want to go out for a shop to buy groceries, that time also they will, look really very presentable and they will put a lot of makeup. So is it a fact or a myth?
Okay. So I mean, yeah, like that is true. So, like to some extent, some women are really particular about looking really good and presentable. Plus, Korea is like the #1 country when it comes to like skincare and just cosmetic surgeries because they're just so well to do with technology and stuff. So that is true. Like people look after themselves a lot. They have like a whole 10-step care regime for skincare as well, just to make sure that your skin is always looking glowy and dewy.
And they do it every day?
Every day, yes.
Oh my god, so much time they have. And then what other important things you would like to tell to the people in your audiences who are wanting to learn Korean?
So I would say that if you're willing to learn Korean, always have that open mind because of course.
What all they show in Korean dramas, how different or similar their life actually is. So I would really like to ask the same question to you too, because you have more understanding about their culture.
So, I mean, of course, Korean dramas do have the same thing where it's like, oh, it's all lovey-dovey and all that. But then, same thing. Like in every country, there are like you always have good experiences, bad experiences. So
Right.
it's not always like they show in Korean dramas, definitely. But there are a lot of people who are struggling in South Korea as well financially, and there is lots of bullying that takes place as well.
Right. And since you're also learning a psychologist, to everybody, the sampling is basically a psychologist by profession. So how learning the language or learning Korean especially is helping you in that front?
So it would be helpful for me in that front because, again, like the whole of Asia, I believe, is not that open about mental health yet compared to the other European countries. So, learning another language or having that advantage knowing another language is always better because it opens more job opportunities for you. So I can help people, like Korean people who have any mental health issues in that front, try helping them out because there won't be any language barrier between us.
Right. And so in case of China, people are not very comfortable in talking in English, or they rather, take it to their pride that, we don't know English, Mandarin is the most comfort language for us. So is it something in Korea also that, people will just avoid speaking to you in English and the Korean is the only means of communication?
So it's very common for the elders to do that. Like nowadays, like our generation people, most of them happen to know English because it's taught in private schools and stuff as a second language. But usually the elderly would prefer knowing Korean. So if you know the language, they would like to talk to you in Korean instead of English. It's a lot easier for them.
Right. And then I would request you to teach something to our audience in Korean. Any word you like, any sentence you like.
So usually, I mean, like nothing that comes to me.
You can just pick a favorite dialogue from any of your K-drama and decode it for our audience. They will be very happy, I'm sure. Take some really famous drama and decode it to our audience.
We have Goblin, which is drama, and there's a scene where Kim goes to Gongyu, like she tries telling him that she's in love with him, and like she does this whole egg yolk, egg yolk is basically when you're trying to act really cute. So it can be in any manner, the way you dress, or just the way you're talking, or the way you decorate your room and stuff. She just goes to him and goes up like, "아저씨, 사랑해요. 사랑한다고요." So it basically just means, "Hey there, I mean, I like you, and I'm trying to tell you that I like you."
Right. So anyone who hasn't mistook Samsung for an actor is because the way she presented it in front of everybody. She's not, guys. She's my teacher and a psychologist. So please don't be in that confusion. So thank you so much, Jasleen. It was really wonderful catching up with you.
My pleasure, Leader. Same here.